Come here. Bodini, tell him, what are we going to do? You're going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Ah, rumble, young man, rumble. Ah, that's what we're going to do. You heard it.
Yo, my favorite NBA player just dropped his signature shoe. I'm hyped to check these out. And feel how light these are. Finally gonna be able to dunk.
Embarrassing!
Today we're reviewing the Way of Wade DLo 1, and this is in the canvas colorway. Now, I know what you're thinking. DLo 1? Doesn't D'Angelo Russell already have signature sneakers? I really had to check if I was bugging because I know that I've reviewed D'Angelo Russell sneakers on this channel before. But you know, that is genius marketing if every time DLo puts out a new shoe, it's sold to us as his first shoe. That's a solid gimmick. But no, the difference here is that this is straight up the DLo 1, whereas those other shoes were a part of the Ice Blood series. Anyways, these released back in May for a retail price of 119 US dollars. Not bad for a signature shoe. And when you're talking about the tech that these shoes come with, which we'll get into in a second, this seems like a good price in my mind. Now let's dive into the many details of the Way of Wade DLo 1. Starting off with the box, you have this paint splatter design that is actually coming from D'Angelo Russell's son, Riley. And of course, that paint splatter also continues onto the actual shoes. On the lid of the box, you have a window in the shape of the D-loading logo. And you also have words surrounding the box. On the back, it does say, "Ice in my veins," D'Angelo Russell's famous words. And then at the front, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce what this says, but I do know when translated to English, it means "I love you."
Hey, if y'all didn't know, now you know.
And then on the inside of the box, you have a lot of encouraging words on the paper. Okay, now on to the shoe. The upper features a sturdy textile material, and you do see all that paint splatter going the full length of the shoe. Despite the textile being a bit thicker, the shoe is still extremely breathable on foot. You also have some light plastic holding it together on the lateral and medial sides, and it's running up here for the lace loops as well. That does a great job of keeping your foot stabilized at the front of the shoe. Way of Wade logo here at the bottom of the laces. Working in a bit of mesh here on the tongue, and it's a really thin tongue like we saw on the Ice Blood 2. I'm always a fan of more padding in that area just in case someone steps on your foot, but it's not the biggest issue. Not a ton of padding on the upper overall. And speaking of the Ice Blood 2, the DLo 1 kind of feels like a premium version of the Ice Blood 2 mixed with the All City 13. You have this section here at midfoot with the boom cushion peeking out, and it has that same narrow fit that you're used to in a lot of D'Angelo Russell shoes. Pretty much if it's a D'Angelo Russell shoe, it's gonna have a narrow fit. And before I forget, here at the top of the tongue, you have this loop in the design of a butterfly for your laces to pass through. And DLo's inspiration for the shoe actually comes from Muhammad Ali's famous "float like a butterfly, sting like a bee" quote. But one of the coolest details with this silhouette is if you stack the shoes on top of each other, they make a butterfly design on the lateral side. That butterfly is formed by the TPU Proloc Bar. There's a stabilizer running underneath the midsole that provides additional lateral support to the foot, kind of keeps you in place and stops the foot from rolling over while you're moving. And you can see the TPU coming up a bit higher on the lateral and medial sides to kind of keep the rear of your foot in place as well. And also on the lateral side, inside of that Pro Bar lock loop, you can see D'Angelo Russell's signature over that paint splatter. All right, so I mentioned the boom cushioning earlier. The DLo 1 does have a dual density foam setup. You have full length boom underfoot, and then you also have light foam ultra at the heel. And initially when I put these on, I did notice that the steps are very forgiving and cozy. You can feel the bounce on the heel from that light foam ultra, but eventually my feet did settle into the shoe and that plushness wasn't something that I was so focused on. Having that light foam ultra at the heel does a great job of cushioning the foot on impact. Now flipping these over to the outsole, the DLo 1 features tough rubber on the outsole for stronger traction. And I will say this is probably the best traction that I've experienced in a basketball shoe in a long time. I don't know if it's 100% up to the tough rubber, because I did also see the lady at LA Fitness going pretty hard cleaning the court, but I didn't have to wipe these at all. From the moment I stepped onto the court till the moment I left, the grip felt pristine, not even one slip. And of course, design-wise, you have even more of that paint splatter all across the outsole. And I love that the traction pattern also loops up to the forefoot on the medial side. That's huge to have a shoe that provides proper traction, even when your foot turns over in a more unnatural movement. So I mentioned these being like a premium version of the Ice Blood 2s, And one thing that I hated about the Ice Blend 2s is there was no pull tab. So your thumbs are getting all torn up just trying to get in and out of the shoe. Major W for the DLo 1 having that pull tab at the back. The left pull tab says Fearless, and then the right one says Family. DLo and D-Wade seem to be really big on family, so I think that word comes up pretty consistently on some of their colorways. But yeah, I just appreciate being able to get into the shoe easily. If it were up to me, every shoe would have a pull tab. But while we're here at the rear, we also have this puffy synthetic material hugging the collar and then going down to the heel. And sticking to the theme of the colorway, this material feels and looks like an art canvas. And finally, under the pull tab, you do have that deloading logo. All right, now let's jump into the fit and sizing for anyone that's watching and interested in picking up a pair. I went true to size and picked up my usual US size 11, but we do have to keep in mind that D'Angelo Russell shoes are usually narrow fitted. My toes are right up at the front of the shoe, and it gives like a very snug one-of-one fit. I don't even think I'd be able to wear like thick basketball socks with these. For someone with a wider foot, I think if you were to go true to size, putting these on might be a nightmare. Also, if you're picking these up to wear casually, I think you would want a much more comfortable fit. You may have these on a lot longer than someone who's just playing basketball in them. So I would say wide footers and casual wearers, you may want to go up at least a half size in the DLo 1, just to give yourself some extra room. All right, so that is the Way of Wade DLo 1 in the canvas colorway. I was really excited about this shoe finally dropping. It's always dope to see your favorite player's shoes drop. I'm sure if Kobe's your favorite player or LeBron's your favorite player, you feel the same way whenever Nike is dropping stuff. But even with my bias aside, I think the colorways that we've seen so far have been really dope. The canvas colorway having elements from Riley's artwork, and then the energy drink colorway. Honestly, the energy drink colorway is the best one so far. I don't know why I didn't buy that one. But also from watching DLo and Link's podcast, they've given a glimpse to other colorways that may be coming in the future just from their time in China. I think Way of Wade has a banger on their hands with these. At $119 US, I think this should be a pretty popular basketball shoe for the summer. Way of Wade is a lot more popular now than it was years ago when we were buying them, so it's not uncommon to go to the gym and see people playing in Way of Wade. And for these to be a signature shoe dropping, you would think that a lot of people will be picking up the DLo 1. I can confidently say for me, I will definitely be playing in these a lot. These are probably gonna be my go-to shoe for the summer. But I'm excited to hear what y'all think of the Way of Wade DLo 1. Did you cop? Are you thinking about copping? If you have any questions about the shoe, throw them down below. Thank y'all for taking the time to chill with me and watch this video. I always appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't thus far. Leave a like, and if you made it to this point in the video, comment Butterfree. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.